When's your birthday?
October 8th.
Okay, so you're a Libra.
I am a Libra and you're a Sag?
Yes.
I love Sagittarius, bitch.
I had a friend and an ex-girlfriend. I have an ex-girlfriend and an ex-friend who are both born on October 8th.
Weirdly, there was a fucking day that I was at work and someone, I typed in their Panera card number and then it pulled up and it was like, happy birthday, you get a free pastry. I was like, when's your birthday? Because normally that coupon stays for a month. Mm-hmm. And I fucking asked, I was like, when's your birthday? She was like, today. I was like, my birthday's today. My fucking birthday's today. We should get married.
Oh, there we go.
She actually was kind of cute. So if you're
married
out
her.
there, whatever your fucking name was.
Yeah, you definitely should just marry her.
Just so you know. Yeah, that's a good basis to go off of, Carlin. You have really good advice.
Yeah. I mean, you should see my past relationships. Clearly, I don't know what I'm doing.
That is very true. But hey. Clearly, I don't know what I'm doing. I've been single for almost 6 years.
Honestly, I wish that I spent more of my 20s single than I did. Than I have so far. Obviously, I'm only like halfway through, but
Same, you and me both. Same age, bitch.
God, and being in your 20s is such a nightmare.
And they always say like, savor it. I was like, no, just savor being thin and beautiful. That's what you want me to savor.
Right.
But guess what? That doesn't help with jack shit.
It really doesn't. It's so much harder being a fucking idiot when you're self-aware. Yes. Because I am aware I'm making stupid decisions.
Oh, me too.
And I cannot
in the actual process. In real time in the process, I'm like, this is a very mine are much more like harmful in the sense of like dark. Like I'm like, I'm gonna do this. Like, as you can see right here, I have a jacket.
You're like, here we are.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's start with what I was even gonna fucking talk about. Because I'm already recording right now. Good. I didn't tell you when.
That's fine.
This could be the preview.
But whatever. I am such an open book. I will.
Me too.
Whatever.
So, dude, you and I are the same, man. It's because you're a saggy wadgy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Finn Invasion podcast. Hey. I am your host, Autumn Finn. Today, we have a beautiful, talented, wonderful guest who I have been friends with online since 2018, but we are only meeting for the first time now, even though it feels like I've known you for a very long time.
Yeah, kindred spirits, honestly.
Kindred spiri wearies, bro.
That's it.
I got that by Polly Wolly.
I think like something about being on the spectrum too is like
got that autism wizzy.
Yeah, if you're a little neurodivergent, like we're gonna be bros.
Yes, neurodivergy wergy. I got that depression weshy, that bipolar wolly, that PTSD, and
yeah, hot stuff, stuff.
And so our guest today is Carling Witt. Your last name's Witt?
Yes,
because she's very witty. WITT, right?
Yes.
Sick last name.
Thank you.
I love a short one-syllable last name.
Me too.
Finn Witt. And we
got the double letters. Oh my God, we're like...
Bro, if we switch the nitwit... Oh, no, because I don't have a... If we switch the letters around, we could spell nitwit. But
fun facts, I got a brother named Nick. His last name is not Witt, but it definitely...
Nick Witt? Nick Witt!
Yeah.
Oh my God, no wonder his last name is Witt. He's like, I ain't doing
He's
that.
like, no, thank you. I'm out. Bye.
He's like, I'm going to go be not Nick Witt.
He's like, that is not the path I'm choosing for myself. No.
He's like, I would like to be not bullied into the fucking ground.
Oh my God.
Be my goal for this year.
Right. Oh my, well, so I'm one of 10 kids, first of all.
That is, oh my God. So your parents are they boomers?
Oh God, are they considered? I guess so.
If baby boomers is when
they're born, they're both born in 1966. But I've got like a blended family. I've got, some
super bios and some non-bios.
Yeah.
Or like half sisters, half brothers.
Oh yeah. I've got, Nick's my half brother, which is the other reason he didn't like pick that his last name wasn't Witt. But yeah, Nick's my half brother and he's wonderful. He's out in Oregon. And I've got like I've got 3 full blood related siblings, and I've got a bunch of steps, and then yeah, it's all messy. But I'm the only one with a weird name. Everyone else has totally normal names, and I think
Carling isn't my name's Autumn. Well, I guess I have met a few other Autumns in my life, but I've met people who haven't met other Autumns, which is interesting.
For sure.
But I've never met a Carling. You're right. People are like, Carly? You're like, no, it's not Carly. Starbucks, thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I have like a collection of things that just say Carly on them. It's, and I just like let people call me Carly, and then like 4 months later, they're still calling me Carly, and I can't correct them. It's been too long.
I've heard
so
people
bad.
do that where they like just allow. Hold on, you have your social security card and your birth certificate, right? This is my mom.
I thought you were asking me. I was
I'm
like,
gonna
no.
not reply to that because where's my birth certificate? Do I know its location? I know it exists.
Oh, I don't know where mine is.
I don't know where no one knows where their fucking birth certificate is. If it's tucked away in some file, I don't care. I know I'm October 8th. I know that. Isn't that all that fucking matters? Just take my goddamn word for it. Believe women.
Right, I was born.
Hashtag believe women.
Hashtag believe women.
I was like, proof that I was born?
I'm here.
Exhibit A.
Aren't I? Yeah.
Exhibit A. Exhibit A. Exhibit C for Carling. Okay?
Done.
C for Carling. Oh, God. Is she texting me again? Also, save an email. Shut up. Okay, I'm in the middle. Sorry, I'm in an interview, Mom. I love my mom. Yeah, I recently went on vacay with her. So I have on my phone some notes and some questions.
Hit me.
So, number one. This is going to be a segment because my podcast hasn't launched yet, right? And I only have a few episodes recorded. And you're like the third or fourth guest I've had. I think maybe only the third. And so far, it's still in the experimental phase.
Good,
So I'm
I
still
love that.
getting segments, right? It's new. Hot tea party.
Hot tea party.
Spill the tea that you've been wanting to fucking talk about.
Oh
Spill it right now. Do you want to
my
drink for
God.
it?
Oh my God, I do.
So check out the ones I have. There's a screwdriver. I don't know what the fuck that is. Driver. I hardly know her. Green apple. There's pink lemonade and original. Because you're going to need that for that. And let me get a bottle opener for you.
This one matches my shirt.
It's very delicious. In fact, I'm going to want to sip because that is the last one in there.
You can take it if you want it.
So let me... Don't be that... No,
I'm
you're
not picky.
too nice. You're such a people pleaser.
I am such a people pleaser, but I also like,
Being kind releases dopamine, in my opinion.
oh my God, it does. And like, I am absolutely obsessed with like connection between people. So
That's
like,
why I have a podcast.
oh my God, yeah.
Yes.
Love that shit. So like, if there's
It's
any
the most
like,
important thing on the face of the planet.
it really is. So like, I'm obsessed with being like,
Kind.
can I? Yeah,
It's a superpower. In
How
my
can I make you
opinion.
more comfortable? How can it make you more yourself? Like,
When people say things like, "Oh my God, I hate people," I'm like, "No, the fuck you don't.
No,
you
you
would be
don't.
nowhere without other people, and you would fucking hate your life. If there was no one, I'm sorry. If you let anyone try to survive on this earth without anyone else, they would all fucking die or kill
Absolutely.
themselves. There's
Absolutely.
no point. There's no fucking point.
humans are the worst and the best thing about the world.
Yes,
Absolutely.
people will be like, "Isn't it? How good is that?"
Fire. Yeah, absolutely
so
fire.
fucking delicious. But yeah, no. People are the best and worst thing about this earth, which is if something is gonna be the best, it also has to kind of be the
Of course,
worst.
yeah. Duality.
And
Yin and yang.
duality. Dichotomy. Another long word. But no, I always say, I was like, there would be no point if you were all by yourself and they're like, "Oh, I just care about making money." I'm like, okay, where's the money being made?
Yeah.
Without people. You think that was made by what, trees? No, not directly from
Who's
trees.
giving you that?
Like, who's making that money? What would you do with the money? Go buy what from what restaurant? Oh, who's working there to make you the food? Oh, who's making you famous? Oh, who's doing all this thing? Who's going? What would you use the money for?
Nothing.
Where are the prostitutes? No, it's your left hand. Fuck you. Or your right hand if you're right-handed.
Yeah, do your thing. Do
No
your thing.
shade for
No shame in your game.
no shame in your game. Oh, nice rhyme, bitch.
Oh yeah, I know. I should
So,
quit my job.
let me crack open a cold one.
Do
and
it.
then we're going to, this is not actually that cold. My room is just a little bit cold, which I like because I used to be in a different room in the house that was a very hot room. And the night sweats, bitch.
Oh my God, and I hate
Not
the
a
heat.
fan.
Can't do it.
Yeah, which is why we have to move to New York.
Oh my
bitch.
God, I need to get out of here.
When I go on a New York trip, you're coming with me.
Yes,
Sorry,
absolutely.
Not sorry.
Immediately, yes.
Are you living with your parents right now?
No, I have my own apartment. It's just me and my cat.
You live alone.
I live alone. Yeah.
That's kind of sick.
Thank you. I used to live in a house, and I was like, it was like me and my partner at the time in the master suite, and then my dad rented a room, and my friend Ryan rented a room.
Okay.
And then
I don't trust the Ryan. Sorry, I have
that's
bad
okay. That's okay.
experiences with Ryan.
That's all right. But he's a sweetheart. I promise you. I don't expect you to trust him without meeting him, though. But if you met him, you'd love him. So we were living there, and then the hurricane hit. Because I live in Southwest Florida, so
Right.
yeah. So the hurricane last year hit, Ian hit, and wrecked everything.
It's actually the sound of a hurricane.
That's exactly what it sounds like the whole time.
I was like, huge misconception, Websy. A lot of people think that's the sound of a horse. No, sound of a hurricane. When you 100%. Hear a horse, actually sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like shit crashing through windows. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Lightning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does lightning not have a sound? It's the thunder that has a sound.
That was great.
Thank you.
Quit your job, be a Foley artist.
That's my hurricane impression, and this is my Jennifer Coolidge impression.
Oh, just got a little hot. Okay.
And just kidding. This is my Jennifer Coolidge, and this is my Matty Healy, but he's problematic now. Thanks so much, and he's ruining my bro. If you are a musician, you've loved the 1975 in the past, and lately he's been sus as hell.
He's been super sus, yeah.
And he used to make out with teenagers on stage back when I was a kiddo, and I wanted to be them when I was like 16. Dude, if you were ever a 16-year-old girl who liked indie music and used Tumblr.com.
Tumblr is the reason the 1975 is famous.
And you listened to, objectively speaking, really good music, especially some of their older stuff. Good shit. Fucking Settle Down, Somebody Else, A Change of Heart is one of my mom's favorite songs. But lately, and I was like, I'm sorry, I've had naps longer than him and Taylor Swift's relationship.
Oh my God.
I've had naps, and I worship Taylor.
Oh,
like
me too.
Most white women.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you not?
In their 20s.
And like the move she pulled with Ice Spice, because they have.
Yeah.
They have tea, and she's like, she's going to feature on my song. And then she broke up with him. Icon.
Kama is my boyfriend. Gra.
Love her.
Kama is my boyfriend. But I do love T-Swizzle.
Yeah, how do you not?
There are a few things that I wouldn't forgive her for.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think every celebrity has done some...
Yeah, just like every politician, except politicians, their mistakes have greater consequences.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Well, I mean, if you're going to be making like decisions for the country,
for the face of for the whole world, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's almost impossible.
Like
in a way, I almost have empathy. Almost have empathy.
Yeah, not
operative
really.
Word here.
Yeah, almost. Exactly.
So I feel like we've interrupted each other, and by we, I mean I've interrupted you. Let's go into, before we jump into the tea sesh, we're gonna cheers to tea. Cheers to spilling tea. I have a tea story, a local tea story, and then you. But I want to start with you because this is your episode dedicated to you, girl.
I have so much
Recent tea that's on your mind. What is the first thing, knee-jerk reaction?
So I very recently ended things with somebody. I guess we ended things with each other.
Is it mutual?
No.
You initiated it. You told me.
I'll explain.
You were telling me live in the other day of, you're like, I'm going to casually break up with my girl.
God. Well, I did. And then I have this tendency where if I don't feel like I've gotten closure, I just go back and keep making the same mistakes until I get the closure. So this didn't officially close. I didn't block her and call it a day until
I hate blocking people.
Literally yesterday.
It feels mean.
It does. I was gonna feel bad about it, but as soon as I tell you all the stuff that went on, the final straw for me was probably the smallest thing that happened. But I have depression. I have clinical depression, and I have these depressive episodes sometimes where like I just feel really like low and really heavy and
You have
like
beautiful, sexy talking voice.
thank you.
Continue.
Yeah, so I feel like really low and really heavy and I have a really hard time. And she was trying to get me to come over after work. I was at a gig and I said I'd think about it. And she was hurt, but I was like, I just don't want to be a burden to you. Like I'd noticed that she had trouble carrying heavy emotion, like in herself. Like she didn't allow it from herself, kind of. I'd like seen this tendency. So I was like, I don't want to come over and like be a burden and like make you uncomfortable and whatever. And she reassured me like, I'm happy to be around you no matter how you're feeling and like you're not a burden and you're safe here.
Which is what a good partner
Which is
should say.
Exactly, absolutely. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, like I'll come over. And I went over and I was doing really well for a while. And then eventually like the sad came back. Like I was doing just fine. I was like reading my book. We were watching the game, blah, blah, blah. And eventually like the sad kind of came over me and I was like, oh, like I'm feeling like shit again. So I told her, I was like, I'm starting to feel really heavy.
Like I can't keep up this energy.
Right. Like I was masking for too long. Yeah.
Person for you right now.
Drained. And I told her, I was like, hey, I'm starting to feel really heavy. And she's like, what does that mean? I'm like, I'm just starting to feel like low again. Like the sad is kind of starting to come over me. And she goes, I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that. And I was like, I don't need you to do anything. But she was like sitting there playing her video game. And I was just like sitting there being sad by myself.
You're like, this is perfect for a Lana Del Rey song. Go play a video game.
Yeah, absolutely. Very Lana. So
I whipped out a cigarette and went on Tumblr.com.
Right, yeah, as one does, as a good musician does. And she started saying, she was like, like your sad feelings affect me, right? And I was like,
oh my
yeah.
God.
Well,
that's the last thing you
wait for it.
Oh
like it got so much worse. I was like, yeah, I know that. And she's like, yeah, like, like I empathize and like being around you when your energy is like sad, like makes me feel that. And I was like, of course, like I know you pick up, everyone picks up on the energy in their immediate area. Like I totally understand
if they're an empathetic human being.
Absolutely. I was like, yeah, I totally understand that. And like, I understand her wanting to be seen for that too. But she goes, then why are you doing this to me?
You invited me over.
I know.
When I motherfucking warned you.
I was like, I told you.
Exactly.
And
exactly
how I was feeling.
What I was fucking feeling, This is not my goddamn motherfucking holy shit fault.
I know. Like, I would not choose. She's like, I feel like she pulled the, like, I feel like you could choose to be happy and you don't.
No.
She was like,
no. Have you ever been to it? Have you looked up what a chemical imbalance is of what fucking depression is, bro?
She literally said the words, you're just being kind of a lot right now. And I was like,
did I not? Goddamn motherfucking.
Right. And like, I
sorry for not warning you. Oh wait, I did.
Right.
Oh my God.
Like, why? And I recognize wanting to be seen for like the fact that I was asking her to carry heavy emotion, and like that's true. But if I'm in a romantic relationship with somebody,
the most you can do is communicate it, and that's exactly what you fucking
absolutely
did. You did all that you were able to
do. Right. I want to be with somebody who it allows me to have the feelings that I have because I'm not going to deny them. Like shoving them down isn't going to do anything.
Give yourself permission to feel what you need to feel. That's
absolutely.
Something I wrote down, and it's very important.
It is very important. I was literally telling, I went through like a really bad, this past relationship was like 2 weeks long, noticed all the red flags and ended it.
You're like, bye.
So I went through like a big breakup back in June. I was seeing somebody for a year.
That's a long time.
A long time, and it wasn't like a long time in the scope of like many of my other relationships, whatever. But it was definitely like the most meaningful, I would say, of like my relationships. And we went through a lot together. Like we lost the house in this hurricane. And
that's emotional.
Oh my God, it was crazy. We were homeless for a couple months. Brutal.
That's when you know it's brutal.
Right. In that same time period, when I started dating him, he was not a boy, and he came out as trans in the middle of our relationship while we were homeless after the hurricane.
Was with someone who was trans.
Crazy! Oh my god!
Except it's I was 15 and they were 19, so
been there.
I'm a victim.
High five!
Cheers.
Been there.
Cheers to grooming. Cheers to the toxic gossip.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. No, yeah, I was 15, they were 19, and now I have problems. Anyways, so continue. And now I am sad. So continue. You lost your house in the hurricane.
Yeah, we went through a lot together, and
they came out as trans. That's a
big
huge
thing. Right,
for both of
absolutely. And I came out as a lesbian so late in life, like 2020, I want to say, is like kind of when I
stepped. You were like 23.
I was like 23. I came out as pansexual at I was like 19.
Gateway to gay.
The gateway to gay.
The gay tway.
The gay tway. I came out as pansexual at like 19, and then I dated a couple people, and then I was like, you know what?
Dick's just not doing it for me.
Dick's just not doing it for me. And
it rarely does, women.
It wasn't even that.
Take notes.
Facts.
Sorry.
But it was just, I just need I think I need a lot of feminine energy.
Feminine energy, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a little feminine energy.
Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm.
What's up? Anyway, so you need a lot of feminine energy.
I need a lot of feminine energy.
You came out.
So I came out really late.
On social media.
Very open about it. Yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up really religious.
Oh no, religious trauma.
Religious trauma.
Hate it.
My dad, like I was saying before, my dad was a youth pastor and my mom was a worship leader.
I hate that for you. I'm so sorry.
And I was a lesbian.
Doesn't make it easier. Doesn't make it any easier.
Nope, not at all. So I internalized all of this.
Were they like the chill, laid back Christians, or were they like the... There's three different types. There's number one, it's like, no, being gay is bad. Da-da-da-dee-da-da-ba-da-boo. And then there's the liberal one where it's just like, yeah, God accepts all children. And then there's the one in the middle where it's like, I mean, we don't. We
love you even though you're sinning.
We love you.
We love the sinners.
Hate the sinner, hate the sin, not the sinner. Oh, God.
So that was the kind of church I went to.
Middle?
Yeah, in the middle there.
Better than the far
Better. Well, when I was
not
growing up,
though.
even the progressive churches, I went to a very progressive church, and even those churches were preaching that homosexuality was a sin and it was a bad thing and whatever. And I think my parents and the churches that I went to adapted over time, but a lot of my childhood was
because they
had to.
Yeah,
right?
I was gonna
absolutely.
Say, I was like, get with the times, man. You have to.
Yeah, totally. You're gonna lose your whole church.
Lose your whole church, right? And then, which means you're gonna lose the money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, I know you care about that shit.
Yeah, especially the more you realize that if you actually do prescribe to what Christianity is rooted in, none of it is rooted in judgment or hating anybody for being different.
None of
it's
it.
very Jesus was friends with
find a fucking way.
Right. Jesus is friends with tax collectors and prostitutes and all these people who were
prostitutes, aka my heroes.
Sex workers, baby. All of these people that were outcasts and people that were looked down upon, and Jesus were these are the people that I love.
Say dehumanized?
Yeah, absolutely dehumanized. And Jesus is treat these people fairly, love them, be their friends, and
across the goddamn board.
So it's very confusing for me as a child to grow up and learn all these treat people the way that you want to be treated, turn the other cheek, love everybody.
But then some contradictory.
Super contradictory, and of course, I'm trying to base my entire personality around being this, right? My identity around being like Jesus, being a good person, and then
being godly and holy,
right? And then I grow up and I realize that the entire church is
kind of success.
Not that, right? Exactly.
Not that.
I'm, in my head, I always say like I'm a gig musician. And that's what I do for a living now is as I make music. And when I was young, I always thought that like being a good person was like the bare minimum, and like my special, and then my special talent was like music, and so like that's what I want to do for a living. And then like I got older and I realized that all these people that I assumed were just like good people, bare minimum, whatever, like not none of these people, but so many of these people were not good people. They were just like hiding behind this facade of like, I'm following all of these rules.
Therefore,
like I check all these boxes, and therefore you must regard me as a good person.
And it's more complicated than that.
Much more complicated than that. Absolutely. Especially like when you're thinking about the fact that their standard of being a good person revolves around the fact that they surround themselves with people that are like them. And so much of being a good person.
Which is exclusionary.
Entirely exclusionary. And I think that being good and like being a good person and being good to other people has to do with like what you do when it's foreign to you and when it's not easy, when it's not right. And not just like.
And it's what you're doing when no one's around.
Exactly.
Your character is defined by, this is what I say. It was like a 3-rule thing. I always said your true character shines through when you are interacting with someone who is either has less power than you, who you could get away with hurting if it's inconvenient to like treat them well, and there would be no repercussions, or maybe even it's beneficial to you, or I'm sorry, it's not beneficial to you to like treat them kindly. Right. Like it's how you treat people when no one is looking and when there's no benefit to it.
Of course. Are you familiar with the shopping cart theory?
I'm excited to hear about it.
So the idea is that like the true test of whether or not you're a good person is if you put your shopping cart in the shopping cart return when you go to the store. And the basis for this is that like there's no repercussions if you don't do it. Nobody's watching you, whatever. But like we can all agree that like the thing you're supposed to do,
it's common decency,
consideration for your fellow person, both the people that are working there that have to round up the carts, the other people that want to park in the parking lot, whatever. The considerate thing to do is to put it back. But like obviously there's no repercussion if you don't. So like that's like the like if you're a good person test of time, because I
mean it certainly does say a certain amount about someone's character. It doesn't say everything, but it says quite a bit. No,
absolutely not. But but that's where it comes from, is like the idea that
shopping cart theory. I get
being good is about like what you do when it doesn't benefit you.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Be good. Yeah, like there's no repercussions if you're bad.
What's interesting is that I think there are I believe that it releases dopamine in certain people to be a good person, because like buying something for yourself, that dopamine release is very limited, lasts a limited amount of time.
Right.
But when you do something good and I would like to hope that I would like to think that it's everyone, but maybe it's not some people. Maybe some people get dopamine from hurting others and revenge or whatever.
Absolutely.
But I think everyone has a dark side, but they say that the feeling of joy and satisfaction that you get from helping someone or from making someone's day lasts longer than just the sort of instant gratification or immediate surface level pleasure of getting something for yourself.
Which like full circle brings us back, because I think that like the reason that feels so good is because like that's how we are built to thrive, is on community, is on connection with other people, is like, the only way that society succeeds is if
and functions properly,
right, is if we all invest in, ourselves for sure, but also like our community, and also like making the world better, and not just like our own personal like lives better. Because I don't know. Like, I think that's a lot of the reason that things are going to shit right now, like late stage capitalism, et cetera, is because so much of it is based around like, how can I make me better? How can I succeed? How can I like take myself from 0 to 100?
To 100.
And like not even thinking about the fact that, the fact that the existence of billionaires is wrecking our country, et cetera,
and pro-life motherfuckers.
Yeah. Oh God. It like so many things like where people want control rather than
control. Yeah.
control rather than
I get to decide
collaboration.
what's good for other people.
Exactly. Which like our whole country is founded
Church versus
on
state,
the
bro.
opposite.
And I'm like, this is what I would say. You can hate abortion all you goddamn want. If you hate abortion, don't get one. But to make decisions on behalf of other people,
Absolutely.
you can even think it's unethical if you want. I personally don't think it's unethical. I think it's a very complicated situation.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not black and white at all.
No,
because
there's so much nuance.
It's just as complicated as the human body and the reproductive system is, which is, answer, very fucking complicated.
So
you know
complicated,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Incredibly complex and multifaceted. And it's like people are making these moralistic decisions off of other people. And I was like, listen, if you're allowed to think anything you goddamn want, you're allowed to think it's immoral, but whether you like it or not, it is an option that has been made by science and medicine, and you're trying to take away a thing that has been provided to people.
Right.
And then if you're going to try to use the excuse of like, well, you know, it can cause all this stuff. So can every other surgery, every operative surgery, and every invasive surgery on the fucking face of the goddamn planet.
Also, like, on that note, so can pregnancy.
Yes! I know!
And childbirth. Oh my God.
Abortion saves lives!
It really does. And like, you know, this also loops into like, for me, it loops into like
religion.
Religion. It loops into like people's beliefs on homosexuality. Yeah. Like that same like, okay, if you don't like it, don't do it. Like,
yes,
nobody is making.
And then they go into the whole, it's like, well, but my kids have to see it. They have to see the gay folks holding hands. I'm like, they're never gonna stop existing.
They're never gonna stop existing.
Have you
also,
tried
like,
it? No, I'm just kidding.
What is the terrible thing that happens if like, these kids witness like a healthy, consensual relationship between two adults?
It's not gonna make them want to do it. It's gonna make them understand that it exists. That's all it's gonna fucking do.
I wasn't aware that women could be gay till I was like 14. And I'm still a lesbian.
That's pretty goddamn late.
Oh my God.
That's when I first started like, jerking off.
Oh my God. And the worst part is that my godparents are lesbians. And I didn't know. Well, because I knew them through the church. And so they were very like, hush, hush.
All I knew
was
was that they were awesome.
All I knew was that they were awesome and they lived together.
And then I realized they were lesbian life partners, LLP.
I had no idea. And like, you know, it was like very like hush hush. And they had a really hard time like in our church because I knew them through our church. Like, so
I love that you go, that's one of your things. I love you so much.
Oh my God. When I like have all of...
It's overwhelming, bitch.
It's overwhelming. Well, my brain works so much faster than my mouth does.
Mine is, I have ADHD, severe.
Yeah, so...
Severe.
My like...
Hashtag neurodivergent.
Hashtag neurodivergent.
Neurodivergy.
So when my brain goes faster than my words do, like my immediate reaction is just...
Like, give me a sec. A buffer? It's a buffer.
It's a buffer. I'm literally buffering.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's happening.
Oh my God, people. So back to tea.
Tea.
I'm gonna spill some of my tea.
Oh my God, please
and
hit me with it.
I'm gonna have to bleep out some names, which I'm excited about because that's hot. So here's what this motherfucker did.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Here we go.
Oh,
Straight
look, these
boy.
people have my last name.
Holy crap! What?
What if we're
Long lost
secretly
brother.
related? Yeah.
So can't wait to cut this out and bleep this out. So last month, and y'all, this is fresh. I am so pissed. So I have known this stupid motherfucker for like almost 2 years. Okay. Kind of a long time.
I'm so sorry.
And we like matched on Bumble. We went on one date and we connected a lot, but I wasn't all that attracted to him because I am so hot. And so,
Facts.
You're like, can't deny. And so
Lesbians on him.
I have known him since before I had tattoos. Look at me. I'm a tattoo queen. I've known him since before I had fucking tattoos.
Tattoo queen.
Well before I had tattoos. And so yeah, we meet up, and then a year or something goes by, or like several months go by, and his band gets back together, and I reach out to him again, or he invites me to, I forgot who I reached out to who, but we were keeping in touch just very periodically. And then he was having like a music video shoot at this bar downtown. And I won't say the name of it, okay? I'm going to erase any traces that I can. Not photo shoot. I said video shoot, like a music video, whatever. And so I was an extra in it. And no, whatever. There were a lot of people there. And so I started like getting more in touch with him. And then one day we meet up at Sly Fox with some of my friends. And I was so drunk, but I'm 90% sure that him and I kissed in like the photo booth or something, which is very romantic.
Saucy.
Photo booth kiss, very cute. Oh. I'm 90% sure. I'm sure if he sees this, he'll be like, no, we didn't. I'm like, yes, the fuck we did because I texted you about it and you didn't say no, we didn't. Fuck you. So then I start getting kind of into the idea of him. Not him, the idea of hanging out with a guy in a band that is gonna eventually work with one of my favorite fucking bands. That's it. It's the idea. Right. And I'm guilty of that. You know, that's not a very nice thing of me. I don't like when a guy or anyone is into just the idea of me. But it happens. And that does not justify what the fuck happens next. So, yeah, you're gonna want to drink because it gets bad. So we meet up. You ever been to Keg Social?
I haven't been there, but I know where that's at.
I think it used to be called something else, but it has a huge like bowling alley and a big arcade in it and like a bar and there's like a second story. Like it's a spot.
It's a thing.
Okay. And so he invites me out with him and his bandmates. And it is Saturday night. And I tell him, I was like, hey, I have work at 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay. And your girl does not have a car, so I'm gonna have to Uber there. Luckily, the Uber ride there was cheap, but he knew that I was gonna be like Ubering there and back. And so I get there, and I had been like drinking earlier in the night because he invited me at like 11 p.m. or 10 p.m. or something like that, which is technically maybe even not that late because it was a Saturday night.
No, I'm an old lady. That's late.
Yeah. I mean, you and I are the same age, and I'm technically a little bit older than you. No, it's a little late, especially if you have work at 5 a.m. in the goddamn motherfucking morning.
Oh my God.
So I am like, fine. And him and his bandmate were there. And so I go and I meet up with him, and him and I have been talking like pretty periodically, wanting to like write a song together, do whatever, because I'm a musician too. And I am like, if you pull up his Instagram, objectively, I think I am so out of this motherfucker's league, which makes me even more pissed that he got to do this to me. So I'm there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Can confirm she's out of his league.
Thank you very much. And so I get there, and everything's perfectly normal and fine. And then we get over to the bar, and he buys me 2 green tea shots. Delicious. And then I'm like, and then he's like, hey, insert name here that I can't say is like texting me and is like upset about something. He's like, I don't know why. What I think it was is I was friends with insert names here, his bandmate's girlfriend. And this motherfucker had been telling everyone that he was single when he was dating this other girl that I know for like a year. Hey, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit, and you're 5'8" and you're pissed, and she's so out of your league, so fuck you.
That's always how it goes. The girl's always out of the guy's league.
It's always the short guy. Every time in a band, they're always, you never see, okay. That being said, so, I was like, okay, well, listen, I just downed these 2 shots. I have to use the restroom. Okay, I go to the bathroom. I come out of the restroom. I'm texting him. I'm like, hey, where are you? Start circling the place. Hey, where the fuck are you? Sending him texts, and I'm like calling him. And in my head, I'm like, benefit of the doubt. I believe the best in people. Even men! Even when they keep fucking
See, that's your first mistake.
Even when they keep goddamn proving me motherfucking wrong! Wrong! Sorry. Microphone etiquette. So, calling, texting. Not even that much. I think I made like 2 phone calls or something. And then I'm like, fuck's going on? I'm looking like a dumbass, circling the place, this place is huge, by the way. looking everywhere for him, assuming in my heart and in my head, like, there's no way him and I are friends. We've known each other for so long. He would never leave me and abandon me. And then I Uber home. I'm sad. I'm upset, obviously.
Yeah.
And part of me, because I'm believing the best of him, part of me is like, well, is he okay?
I hope he's okay. Right. That's what I was thinking too.
I get home. All of a sudden, I'm blocked on everything. I'm like, I have known you for almost 2 fucking years.
What?
So I reach out to someone who knows him like a bit more personally than me, and we had probably known him for the same amount of time. I don't know. But I reach out, and the girl who I reached out to, she was like, I'm pissed. Like, this is fucked up, which is the correct reaction.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if I'm meeting up with 2 men and I'm a young female.
Yeah.
If you're leaving me alone at a huge bar in the middle of the night after you gave me 2 shots in the middle of the night, not only are you humiliating me, but you're putting me in danger.
Yeah, that's not safe.
It's the middle of the goddamn night, you absolute piece of shit. Hold on, I have to start recording again. It keeps card full.
Do you want me to fight that guy for you?
I would love for you to fight that. Send someone over there to physically harm him. I'm sorry, but I'm petty. And no, all I have to do is like not support his band.
Okay.
All I need you to do is, the band. Okay, he sucks. So I am, I'm home and I'm crying. I'm upset because I believe this person to be my fucking friend.
Right.
I was like, what is going the fuck on here? You know, like...
Also, like, way to out yourself for having no communication skills. For, like, just, like, blocking you without saying anything at all.
And here's what I always say. One of the worst emotions you can inflict on someone is confusion. Because the only thing you can do with that emotion is overthink. Yeah. That's the only thing you can do with that emotion. And so... And what that does is... Like, here's the thing. If you go through a breakup... There are tried and true sitting in front of the TV and eating ice cream, having wine night with your girls. These are tried and true methods of dealing with that pain. But the pain of being confused, there's no tried and true method of getting through that, in my opinion. Okay, hold on. I want to turn up the volume because now there's yard work going on outside. So I'm home. And then she messaged me back and she was like, hey, I talked to him. And I'm like, I cannot believe this person is like such an apologist of this fucking guy. And she was like, hey, like, he basically said that like you were making him and insert name here, like uncomfortable and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, and that excuses leaving a girl alone at a bar in the middle of the night when she's a lightweight and you just bought her 2 shots and she fucking drank beforehand? That's like saying, it's like, hey, you like did something that I didn't like, and so I'm gonna let you get killed and raped. Like, I'm like, hey, not a good trade. Bad fucking, not good. Fave. Not good. Not fair. You absolutely suck. 100% you suck. Fuck you. Absolutely fuck you.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely fuck you.
And so then she was like, yeah, basically. And here are some of the reasons that she gave.
Like, not even text you and be like, did you get home safe? Like, you could be anywhere doing anything.
I was like, motherfucker, do you know how bad you would have felt if I got kidnapped that night?
Right.
Do you know how fucking bad you would have goddamn felt? And that's why, the way to avoid that feeling is by not fucking doing that to someone. And, like, what drives me nuts is, like, I was like, I can't even fathom the idea of doing that to someone.
Right.
I could never, would never, will never.
Right.
The only time that you ever leave someone alone without telling them is if you just met them and you feel unsafe.
Right.
And there ain't no goddamn way you and your guy friend felt unsafe around me, who weighs 130 fucking pounds, who's known you for 2 years and is kind of into you for reasons I don't even understand anymore.
That is such a fucking preach. Like, why
You're
am I
even... The only fucking way that you are allowed to leave someone by themselves, and I'm sorry, if you're a man, you have much more leniency to do that. Sorry. You just don't. You're not afraid of me. You're not fucking afraid of me. I know you're fucking not. I am no physical threat to you. You and your guy friend. It's not, it wasn't even just him. It was him and his friend. So, and the plot thickens. And so she's saying to me, she's like, yeah, basically, because I went to one of his shows because he's still in a local band. And you're not even that good of a fucking band. Your songwriting skills, mid. Okay? Mid. Suck my dick, bro, I swear to God. So, anywho, so, she was like, hey, like, yeah, he said that, you wore like a custom shirt to his show. I was like, what I did was, it was wine night with my friends. We were painting t-shirts and I was like, I can't think of anything. Oh, I'm going to write this band name of my friend who I've known for almost 2 years. So nice.
That is so sweet.
So nice.
I would cry if somebody made a t-shirt like with my name in it and came to my show.
5 letters.
Stop.
5 letters in white paint on a black crop top. Like I'm obsessed, bitch. You think I'm obsessed with you?
Also, like, if you're like seeing somebody, like, oh, how terrible, you like showed interest in somebody that you were seeing, like,
I know,
the worst thing in the world.
Him and I were certainly not dating. You know
what
I mean?
but
we've never slept together. Thank God.
You're like, it would have been a waste.
Didn't want to make your dreams come true. Emphasis on the. Anyways, so she was like, yeah, he said, like, don't come to shows. Don't come to. Hold on. You do some fucked up shit to me, and now I'm not allowed to go to public events at local places that cost like $15 because your band is not fucking big? This is the kind of shit that makes women vengeful.
Oh, yeah.
It's this kind of shit. And I'm like, I am now restricted from going places because of something that happened to me. Mm-hmm. I'm like, listen, motherfucker, if you are opening or playing a show with a band I like, fuck you, I'm going.
Yeah.
Fuck you, I'm going.
Yeah, I don't have to talk to you. Like, why would I want to see you? But like, you can't stop me from like living my life. Like, I will keep my respectful distance.
I know.
Why the fuck would I want to talk to you anyway?
You scare me now.
Yeah, why the fuck would I want to talk to you anyway?
So now you know that you and I both have a public enemy.
Oh my God. I have like a very relevant story about the person that I was thinking about earlier.
Oh my God, let's hear it.
You're going to lose your mind. Are you prepared for this?
I am ready.
So,
now that you've heard mine.
Oh my, and it's so like relevant with like the whole like leaving someplace unsafe.
Oh my God, so fucked.
Oh my God, and it's worse because a girl that is smaller than me left me alone in like an unsafe place.
I could never do that to you.
Like,
I don't have it in me. Like, it's so fucked
It's crazy. And a girl I was dating, so
even worse.
Even worse. So I was home. I'd been working all day. I was doing some work for my production company in the morning, and then I had a gig at night. And then I got home and I was cleaning my apartment before bed. And she texted me. She was like out with a friend of hers. Are you going to bleep these names out?
Of course.
Okay, cool. So I'm just going to tell you their names or whatever. So she's out. Her name's and then she's out with her friend. And they're playing pool at this garbage bar, like this really sketchy bar in my hometown. And she texts me and asks if she can come over. And I'm like, yeah, totally, you can come over. Like, I'm going to go to bed soon, but, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, great, I'm fucking obliterated, but I'll be over in like an hour. And I'm like, time out. How are you getting to my house? And she's like, and I was like, you are not drinking. And this is like a comment. She drinks and drives, like, whatever. She was telling me, like, this is like, she was like, in my defense, this is like a thing they do in my hometown. Like, we do like booze cruises, like whatever.
In my defense, slavery is actually illegal where I'm from.
Oh
like,
my
you know
God.
What I mean?
Like, it's something she would defend. Like, I mean, she wouldn't defend it in like I'm doing the right thing.
That's fucked up.
You're doing it. I support you.
Not driving.
I have
not driving.
I have nothing against drinking. Drinking and driving, absolutely. You're putting yourself at risk. You are putting other people at risk. Like,
that's the bad part.
That's the bad part. I don't mind that she's drinking. I don't give a shit. But yeah, so she's like, I'm gonna drive, and I was like, don't. I was like, literally, I was like, anytime, if we break up, whatever happens, if you need somebody to come and get you so you don't have to drink and drive, I will always do it. Like, whatever. So I was like,
So you're an angel.
Right. I was like, so I will come get you. Please don't drive. And she's like, my can drive me, whatever. I'm like, how much has he had to drink? And she's like,
same as me.
I'm also noting at this point in time that she told me when she went out that she like wasn't planning on drinking, and that's not like something that she would lie about. So, or well, maybe it is. I don't really know. We didn't take that long. So I go to this bar, and the first person I see when I walk in is a friend of mine. Her name's Alita. Shout out Alita.
I can keep that.
You can keep that one in there.
She's a friend.
Alita's the bomb, and she's a bartender at a.
Name's a start with the letter A. Love it.
It's an E. Ooh, I try. I see. But
I take back my previous statement. I'm embarrassed.
E names are like Leos in the way that I either love them or hate them.
Right.
Facts.
Right.
Anyway, so I see her and she's telling me like that that she almost gave her phone number to my girlfriend, and I'm like, you have exquisite taste, because
you're like same, or maybe not that good of taste.
Well,
in retrospect,
she is beautiful. I will always give her that. She is beautiful. So
lucky girl.
Lucky girl. So she's like, yeah, we're joking this whole time that this guy is so into this girl, and she's like not really feeling it. Like, we thought they were on a date, and like he was into it and she wasn't. So like this makes a lot of sense.
Straight.
Right. This like makes a lot of sense or whatever. And I was like, oh, and then in my head I was like, why do they think that they're dating? And I realized that like the drunker she gets, like the more
single she acts.
No. He's like putting his hand on her lower back when she's doing shots. Like it's like being so creepy. And then like I was like kind of keeping an eye on it, and I was like, hey honey, I'm gonna go get you some water. So I went to the bar, got her a water, gave it to her, and she like takes a sip, and then this guy comes by, her friend comes by, and is like, oh wait a second, takes the water out of her hand and hands her another alcoholic beverage.
So this girl's really hot. And these men really suck.
And he's definitely trying to take advantage of her. And, like, I see that. But, like, I can't.
Ew.
Like, what am I supposed to say about that? She's, like 8 years older than me. And she's, like, one of those, like, I can handle myself, like, blah, blah, blah. So, it just, like, you know, what do we say? So I just let her do her thing. And this guy had this friend here. And he's being so creepy and, like, pushy or whatever, and like comes to me, and he's being like creepy and pushy with me, and she walks over and she's like, oh, are you like, you're talking to my girl or whatever? And he's like, no, I would never hit on you, I would never hit on your girlfriend, like blah blah blah. He's like, I was just being friendly, like I'm not trying to be creepy, whatever. Brief pause, and then he goes, you're both really hot, though. Like, fuck off. Fuck you. Go away.
It's like, I would never be creepy. That being said, how do y'all feel about three-ways? Asking for a friend.
Right. And I'm like, vom. So she like walks...
Projecto vom from wall to wall.
Absolutely. So she like walks away, and he's like, oh, like, why are you being this way, whatever. And I was like, I'm just tired, like I worked all day. And he's like, you know,
I'm tired and you're sus.
He's like, I've got something for that if whatever. And I'm like, and I'm like, no thanks. And he's like, what you don't do coke, like you don't do coke ever? And I'm like, no.
Not off of your stupid dirty key.
Yeah,
okay?
No, thank you. I'm like, no, thanks. And he's like, what about your girlfriend? Like, and I'm like, can you just leave us alone?
First of all, only on Fridays. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, can you just leave us alone? Like,
coke is not that fun. I'm
whatever.
Sorry. I'm saying it publicly here. Coke is not that fun.
So like, I'm like, just leave us alone. You're being weird. You're being creepy. I'm not gonna take drugs from a creepy stranger at a bar.
Yes, exactly.
Like, if I'm gonna do some dumb shit, I'm gonna do some dumb shit. Like, someplace safe with someone safe, right?
Yes. I believe me, I've never taken drugs from a stranger. You're like, no judgment here.
I've done it before.
I've been 23 before.
I've done it before, which is the exact reason why I was like exact reason why I know this is so stupid.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, thank you, whatever. I shit you not, 10 minutes later, my obliterated as fuck girlfriend walks up, and she's like, hey, I'm going to step outside really quick. Is that okay? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. Uh-oh. And she disappears with her friend and this creepy ass stranger to go do coke behind this shitty like fucking pool lounge. and I'm there at 2:00 in the morning after working a double by myself, like while she goes, like
trying to help her,
trying to make sure that she doesn't drink and drive, like, and
it doesn't die or injure other people and then get herself a fucking lawsuit.
Right, and suddenly I'm sitting alone in this dive bar at 2:00 in the morning, like an idiot. Like, just sitting there waiting for her.
In danger and humiliated. This is exactly what happened to me. In danger and humiliated.
And, like, of course, like, my immediate thought is, like, what if she is not safe? Like, this guy was really creepy, and now he's offering her drugs and she's taking them. Like, what happens if, like, she gets in somebody's car or something and then she's fucking gone? But there's no way for me to go check on her without putting myself in danger. So, like, she's not thinking about me or herself in this capacity. And I'm like, like, what am I supposed to, whatever. And so I just sit there and, like, I went out front and I sat and I waited for her. And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm so shitty, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and, like,
it doesn't make it okay.
Right. So, like, I brought her back to my house and we had a conversation the next day. I was really nice to her about it. And I just, like, fucking forgave her.
Because you're a people pleaser.
Because I'm a people pleaser.
People.
Well, also, she has this talent. She is really, really good at
being hot. No, I'm just kidding.
Being hot.
And also,
she was pretty good at being hot, but she's really, really good at making me feel like all of our arguments were, like, my fault. Like, I was doing something wrong.
So
to
gaslighting.
Her. Gaslighting. She's really good at gaslighting, and then making me feel like I'm gaslighting her when I'm like, I don't think that's what's happening or whatever. She's like, you're gaslighting me, whatever. And I'm such a people pleaser. And, like, I'm so conscious of, like, being a good person.
You took advantage of that.
That, like, I always, like, I'll always start with, like, I don't think that's what happened. Like, this is how I feel, whatever. And then as soon as she's like, you're gaslighting me, you're a bad person, like, blah, blah, blah. I break so easy and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I never want to make you feel that way. I clearly did. And I'm like, really sorry.
She's older than you. So she has,
I'm
like,
25.
Power.
She's 33.
That's power.
That's
a power in
power.
Balance, in my opinion.
And, like, I'll show you a picture of her. Because
you're like, and then you'll understand.
Honestly, you will, but
not a fan of neck tattoos.
Oh, see, I am. She is.
Oh, well, I love tattoos.
She is not the first person with neck tattoos that I've dated. Actually, she's the third.
Seems like you have a type, Carling.
I do. Well, if it were up to me, I would be covered in tattoos. But
why is it not up to you?
Because
you need to meet Joey. You need to meet my best friend Joey, who's a tattoo artist who's done most of mine.
I've just been acting and modeling for so long that, like, I know that they won't hire me to play, especially, like, in theatrical productions, they won't hire me to play, like, teenagers and stuff if I have visible tattoos.
Is that your dream?
Well, okay. So right after high school, I did musical theater for a living for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, when I lived here and we met, like, that's what I was doing. I was doing musical theater through Warner Brothers, and I was scare acting.
That's legit. Warner Brothers kind of sus though.
Oh, they were so sus. They were the most sus. I didn't get paid for over a year after that production. It was very sus. Very sus. The whole thing was garbage. But anyway, so I did musical theater for a couple years. I spent 6 months in Central Florida, and then I spent 6 months in DC, and I spent about a year in California, and then COVID hit, and I got sent home. And that's when I started doing the gig musician thing. But I always thought that after COVID was over, eventually I would go back into theater, and I don't think it's ever something that I'm going to go back into, like, full force, full time, but I did just have my very first professional theater audition in, like, 3 years, 4 years, and it went not so well. I am not a good auditioner, but it's not necessarily my dream, but I haven't decided necessarily that I want to, like, put it down forever yet.
Then what is your dream? Which brings me to my next question.
Ooh.
Because that was the question that I wrote down. I was like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or your dream life in 5 years?
My dream life in 5 years.
# married. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm quite the romantic, and
same.
So I'm
hopeless.
So absolutely. And for a very long time, up until, like, literally maybe like this year, maybe last year, my dreams so heavily revolved around meeting someone, getting married, having kids, buying a house, like, you know, that whole thing. And up until very recently, like, have I started realizing that that's not necessarily part of like what I think is going to make me feel happy and fulfilled, right? I think like a lot of that was just like me trying to outwardly heal my inner child in like the sense that like I didn't have a happy home growing up, like I didn't have like, you know, the house and the family and like whatever, and I think psychologically I wanted to provide that for my younger self. Which, you know, trying to put yourself in the situation that was best for you when you were 7 is not necessarily the
100%
what's best for you at 25. So I'm starting to let go of that. And the honest answer to that is that I don't know.
It's a good answer in my opinion.
And I've been listening to this podcast. Are you familiar at all with 10% Happier, Dan Harris?
My mom probably is. She's very into this kind of podcast.
Yes. He's just like this brilliant speaker, this brilliant interviewer. He's Buddhist. Like he talks a lot about like mindfulness and, that kind of thing. But I was listening to one on the way here with, oh God, what was the guy's name?
Should have been listening to my podcast, but no shade.
No tea, no shade. He was saying like to do like an audit, like a work, not a work audit. I don't remember what he called it. Bruce Feiler, that's his name. So it was Dan Harris and Bruce Feiler. And he was talking about doing an audit of your life in the sense that you ask yourself all of these questions and you talk about like what's going to make you feel fulfilled and whatever. And so like as I go through that audit of like, you know, this is what I always thought I wanted. This is what, you know, the direction I think I'm headed. This is, you know, what I want out of my life.
It's a good idea. Audit of your life. Yeah.
Right. You know, I think everyone should do it. Like take stock, especially like as we as a society embrace the fact that like life is not linear. Like we don't have to do the thing that like our parents did, you know, that the boomers did, Gen X did, where like your path in life is like, right, you go to college, you get a career,
or as a traditional path,
right? You go to college, you get a career, you meet somebody, you get married, you buy a house, you have kids, whatever. Like that's not necessarily like the path. Like there is no path. You can kind of do whatever you want. So I know in the next 5 years, like I definitely want to travel more.
Definitely. I
have like this fever dream of eventually being able to like get in like a van or an RV and like travel around the country and like make music. And
I would love to live in a van.
Love that. Create content.
A nice, real good looking van.
Yeah. I'm
a fridge and a kitchenette.
Yeah, I'm thinking RV maybe, but like I'd love to do that. I want to travel more. I think like as I go through again, I listened to this podcast and it changed my mind about like all this stuff today. Like literally today. But I think more of what I want to do has to do with like helping people and like opening people's minds and creating safe spaces for people like me and for people that are not like me.
Same with my podcast. Yeah, I love like just create like leaving a good imprint on the world.
Exactly. Like I just think like we were talking about before, you know, like so much of our duty, I think, as people has to do with like how you affect the world around you.
Members of humanity.
Exactly. You can't expect the world to be a good place and not do your part to make it a better place. Mm-hmm. Because if we don't individually take that responsibility on of like putting out as much good energy as you take in, then like of course the world is going to be void of good energy. So I think this phase of my life, probably the next 5 years, like is going to be dedicated to creating a safe space for myself that probably won't look like what I thought it was going to look like, but like to create a safe space for myself within myself so that wherever I go, I can feel that that sense of safety, that sense of belonging, that sense of like contentment of being good enough, of fulfillment, of, you know, a degree of enlightenment without having to like live up to these societal standards, and then also like being able to do that for other people, or like bring other people to that sense where like they can also feel safe and happy wherever they end up, because like the world is going to keep changing and like bad things are going to keep happening, and like there's nothing we can do to stop that. So like I think a lot of what I'm, I guess what you'd call a calling, if you believe in
if you watch the show Manifest and there's this callings.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I really want to.
The callings, yeah. Anyways, continue.
If you buy into that sort of thing, which I don't really know if I do, but
agreed.
But for lack of better terms, I think that what I should be doing, or like what I'm pulled to do, has to do with making the world better.
I feel the same way. What I say in like the little bio for my podcast, I was like, this is the podcast for no outcasts. And it's because, I was bullied a lot as a child. Looking back, what I was really bullied for was being neurodivergent.
Absolutely.
And it was about not fitting in. And I don't know if bullying neurodivergent people still happens these days.
Oh, I'm
because
sure.
I think it does happen. I think there's a certain amount of shame or backlash now, I would hope, in schools, because people know the language and people know what to say. Like, hey, you're being discriminatory, in my opinion.
Right. Well, I mean, some people do. And then you've got those people who are like not believers in that anyway, who don't subscribe to.
It's like a cold, like catching a cold. Like, oh, you're just like that episode of The Office that I've never seen, but my sisters told me about, where it's like I think the main guy, like whoever Steve Carell, whoever he plays, he's standing on a roof. Michael Scott, he's about to jump off a cliff, and they were like, he was like, I'm depressed and I want to kill myself, and then he was like, depressed, isn't that just like, a fancy way of saying bummed out? And then he's like, Dwight, you ignorant slut.
Dwight, you ignorant slut. Yes, absolutely. Unfortunately, ignorant people still have children. And
they are sluts.
There is nothing we can do to stop them.
I don't hate you for being sluts. I hate you for being ignorant. No, I don't hate you. Hold on. I don't hate you. I wish you the best in, like, not being so goddamn ignorant.
Are any of your exes having kids yet? I have an ex right now who is pregnant. And I don't like
it. I don't like it.
It stresses me out viscerally, because I know that, like, it's also stressful because I know she's having a girl. And
my ex is having a daughter.
Well, and I know her relationship with her mother, that she refused to heal and like refused to like address, and like her mom was one of those like made her feel like she was never going to be good enough, never going to be thin enough, never going to be
an almond mom. An almond mom.
Well, she was a dancer. She was
an almond mom.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And she never healed that relationship with her mom or with herself, and like not feeling good enough.
Right.
And now she's just going to perpetuate it onto this next kid. And I'm like, fuck. And like, all I can do is like mourn for this child. And like, there's nothing I can, So
my ex was, I'm going to have to bleep this out. Post-relationship. Yeah. And I think he had a daughter I was like, oh, you get to live a normal life, and I get to live with the trauma that you left me with.
That's so awful. Like, that is so awful. This may be a little therapeutic to hear. You're gonna have to bleep this out too. But when I had like a very traumatic high school experience. Where I was...
Boy, if I had a dime.
Right, where I was at a house party by my boyfriend at the time, and he started dating somebody like right after me, and I had noticed some like signs.
Oh no!
And so I didn't know her, but I messaged her, and I was like, hey, if you're happy, you can tell me to kindly fuck off, and I will not be offended. But if he's telling you that he's treating you a certain way because of you, and like he's never like this, and you do this to him, he's lying, because he said that to me too. Mm-hmm. And I don't think she answered me immediately, but I saw a couple weeks later they broke up. I know. And so it was like
Patterns.
So I was like, And then she friended me on Facebook. And then we started like seeing each other out and we were just like very cordial. And then when I was going through the throes of homelessness, she posted on Facebook that she was renting out an apartment. And I was like,
I love this.
Oh my God. I was like, oh my God. So I messaged her and like it was like an affordable apartment in Southwest Florida, which is impossible to find. She got like 80 applications and she picked me specifically.
What a perfect full circle goddamn fucking
And now we are like best friends. We see each other
I love this.
every day and we just talk shit about that guy and like it's so therapeutic. We have great conversation. Mary, shout out to you, babe. Like she's an angel on earth. And like
did she go through the same thing you did with him?
No, she like he
left
was
before he could.
He was bad to her. Well, I was only with him for like 3 months, but it became a big thing because like he thought I was gonna go and tell everyone at school.
That he's a best.
Yeah, so he and
it's not something you want out there,
right? He and who I thought was my friend at the time, went around and told everyone in the school that I was a slut and that I'd been sleeping around with everyone and that I had buyer's remorse and that I was planning on telling everyone that he raped me because I regretted sleeping with him. Was what they told everyone.
Yeah, everyone loves that narrative, right?
And I was brand new at that school too, so like I'd only been around for like I think 2 or 3 months, so everyone believed him and like nobody believed me, and I had like a hell high school career for the rest of. It was like this massive thing. So I think, and you know, everyone believed him at first, and then after like a year or so, some things started coming out, and he started like mistreating other people, and he started like having these
and the truth started
the truth started getting around, and then he started having like all these adverse reactions to all the drugs he was doing. He like got in these car accidents, he was like having schizophrenic episodes, he was like abusing people, whatever, and then suddenly everyone fucking believed me. Like after I was out of high school,
really? Thanks.
I got so many apologies from people that like people messaged me just being like, "Hey, I'm sorry I didn't believe you, but clearly you were right." 'Cause I think he came clean eventually.
That's rare.
I think he posted it on Facebook. Well, he was having some sort of episode because he was
like, gotta wipe this guilt clean from my mind.
I was 15 when I dated him, and he was literally doing meth when he asked me out. Like, so he was going through some shit. But everyone, you know, it kind of ended up coming out that like that I was not lying. That he sucks. Which, you know, it doesn't feel as good so many years after the fact. No. But
you need it in the moment.
I
you
definitely
don't get it in the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, and it's nice to have people that came out of the woodwork and they were like, "Hey, like, I'm really sorry for like spreading those rumors or like for believing him," or right, little bit, you know. It was, you know, when the Me Too movement happened and everything like that,
probably people are like, wait a minute, should we be listening to women,
right,
people who have
right,
been systematically oppressed for the past ever?
Yeah, so
go figure.
But I think he went through a lot of trauma in the aftermath of that, in the sense that, like, you know,
you think he's a changed man?
Maybe not changed entirely, but I don't think he'd make that mistake again.
I genuinely and I hate to say this, but the dude who like me post relationship, it was post breakup. I was super, super intoxicated and half asleep, and he just walked into my fucking room. I had invited him over like an hour and a half earlier or something, and then he gets off work, which means he's fully sober. Knows that I'm drunk out of my mind, knows that I have a habit of leaving my door unlocked, knows that I'm half asleep, and still just like has his way with me, and then leaves my room without saying a single word. And next day messages me, and he me too, which is not something that we did when we were dating. Never something we even talked about doing.
Yeah.
Not a kink of ours.
Which is like not a thing that you do, by the way, without like establishing boundaries.
Any kind of consent at all.
In general, like, you don't just like do that. Like, there has to be conversation.
Yeah, and he like just left my room, and I texted me the next day like, "Oh, sorry if I made you feel unsafe or uncomfortable." I'm like, hey, bitch, you to me. And then a year and a half later, I was like, wait a minute. I was drunk and half asleep. That's the bad part. That's that's the worst part.
Oh, yeah.
And then he, like, you know, however many years later, he gets married, has a kid, and I'm like, you get to live a normal life.
And that's one of the most painful things about
the worst. And I genuinely, and I hate to say it, but I genuinely think that he's gonna do harm to this woman that he's married to. But I think that so when he did this, and this doesn't excuse it, he was like probably 23 or something. And one thing that he said to me, I'll never forget this, and I've never said this publicly.
Oh my God.
But he said to me, he was like, you know, after the fact, he was like, hey, you know, like, that's not something it was something like this. It was like, I would never want to do that to a human being, but in those moments, I didn't see you as a human being. Or he was like, in that moment, I didn't see.
Oh my God.
He admitted to me. I don't know if it was those exact words, but I remember him admitting to me that he did not see me as a human being in those moments. And
That's so
exactly
fucked up.
the right way to describe like what.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like.
It's objectification. That's
It's
exactly
objectification. I'm just a means to an end. I'm just
Right.
like something to use to like get you off. It's so fucking gross, bro.
Yeah, dehumanize. And you know, like,
He has a daughter.
he has a daughter.
Oh, gross. And
I hate
again,
that.
I genuinely, and I'm like, I don't know if this is just me giving him the benefit of the doubt because we had dated for 7 months, but like, I don't think he's doing this to his wife. That's just what I think.
Right.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah, and like it's so hard.
I know he felt bad. About it, but like the damage is done.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how bad you feel. Like you did something terrible. Not only that, but like I think, I mean, at least for me, it was really hard. Like trying to decide, like, do I come forward? Do I say something? Like whatever. And I think a lot of people put a lot of pressure on survivors of.
And sometimes I don't know. I didn't know that he did anything wrong. I thought it was my fault.
Right.
I thought the whole thing was my fault. I was 21 years old.
Not only that, but like to go through something so traumatic and then to have the responsibility put on you to fix it, like,
and not only fix it, but in the right, perfect way.
oh my God, yeah, it's impossible. And that's another. That was hot.
That was trauma. One on my nose, bro. Anyways, but yeah, to have to do it in the right, have all the responsibility put onto us,
And that is
to do
not
the exact
fair.
right thing for something that's a reaction, that's something that's
my God,
not
come here,
supposed to happen to a.
You still have. Okay. You still had watermelon in your face.
Please ruin my makeup. Thank you, Carling. No, I'm just kidding.
And not even in a hot way. Like that's so annoying.
Can't call the cops in a hot way. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make is,
No, I meant I didn't ruin your makeup in a hot way.
you don't know the best part? No, I was fucking with you. What I like is that there's still, it's still sitting there and I can smell it and it smells great.
Good.
So
I love that for you.
So I actually support it being sat there.
Good.
Anyways. So this motherfucker has a daughter and
I hate that. That makes me feel sick.
It does make me feel sick. But again, I think he's learned his lesson.
And not only that, it's not your
It's
responsibility.
not my responsibility. And it's like, it was like, if you learned something about yourself through that at my expense, that's not my fault. I'm not going to congratulate you for learning to not fucking do that to women. And like, what I was telling you before about, and I'm going to bleep this out. Can't wait to put the black bar over my mouth. Is that has a man ever done something to you where you look at it and you're like, first of all, he's never done this to a man. He would never do this to a man. And no woman has ever done this to me. There's things that men, I was like, first of all, I would
Absolutely.
never think to do that to someone. And I remember, this was the excuse that was given to me. So yeah, I was talking to that girl and she was like, yeah, like he told me that you kind of were uncomfortable with the different, he was like, he said that people warned him about me. I'm like, what?
Who? What?
That's my question. He was like, yeah, just like different like bands around town that like, you know, you were being uncomfortable with them. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay. I was like, I'm trying to get close to, that was the thing. I was like, I was trying to get close to other bands. I was like, I'm a musician.
Right. Like I'm networking?
Thank you. I am marketing. I am networking.
Oh, you're not allowed to do that when you're a woman.
You're not allowed to do that when you're a woman. You are
not allowed.
Supposed to
not allowed.
Get close. What do you mean? Like use them for clout or something? I was like, I'm out here. This is business, bitch. Yeah. This is fucking business. I am supposed to be out here marketing myself. And like, here's the thing. It's not insincere. It's not like I'm not going to get to know a musician who's like bad behind their back. Like, oh my God, I hate their music. It's like, oh my God, give me your clout. Like, no, I'm going to get involved with people that I want to work with.
Right. Also, like, I can't imagine like using that
about a man
to justify like
leaving someone alone at a bar in the middle of the night after buying them 2 shots.
Like if you're like, hey, I'm not trying to do work stuff right now. Like it's making me feel some sort of way. Can we just
hang out as friends,
whatever. Fine. But if you're not even capable of having that discussion with another adult person, maybe you shouldn't be having any sort of relationships, friendships, or anything with adult people.
At all.
Literally at all. Maybe if you can't treat people with respect, or you should just go sit alone in a corner.
I was like, and here's the thing is that like, I hate to say this, but like, he hurt me, you know?
Right.
Like, if I had just met him, I think the biggest thing would have been, like, he wasted my time. And he did waste my time that night, but he hurt me. Mm-hmm. I was like, I've known you since before I had tattoos. Do you guys see how many fucking tattoos I have? Like, I was like, and then I feel so dumb, and I blame myself, and I'm like, I must have brought this upon myself. That like this must be my fault because that's what women fucking do.
Yeah,
is that it's always our fault. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, why I still have incredible people in my life, like you, like my best friend Joey. I still have like, you know, I know that's only 2 examples, but I still have like just incredible people in my life, and I'm like, if they're there, clearly I'm doing something right.
See, and that was with my most recent ex. That was like part of my like coming to terms with the fact that like, because when I first started dating her, I was like, you have a life that I wanna live like you. She like travels.
Find people that you admire. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. Surround yourself with people that you would consider like happy and successful and whatever, because like you are who you surround yourself with. And
100%, they influence you 100%.
Absolutely. And in my head, I was like, this is what I want. And then like I got right into her life, and I realized that like she doesn't let herself feel any emotion that she deems negative. All of her friends are people that either want her approval or want to sleep with her.
That's not good.
Not good. And like, and I'm realizing like, as I talk to all of my friends about all this stuff that's happening, these are all people that like, I know are good people. I know are smart people.
I trust.
That I trust, like, that want nothing from me. And they're still like, hey, like, she's not good to you. She's not happy. Like,
she's not making you happy.
You
or
are
making
not,
you feel good.
Right. And like in my head, I thought I was doing everything wrong for a really long time, which is why I stuck around. And when they're like, she's being really shitty to you, I was finally like, oh shit, like it's not just me. Like clearly if you are here and like you are treating me kindly, like she is capable of being kind to me.
Yeah.
And like that was like a tough thing to come to terms with, because like I thought so wholeheartedly that like we were just having miscommunication, like whatever, and I didn't realize that she was like picking me apart specifically so that she could have a reason to validate her emotions,
and you would be weaker, and
right?
She could take advantage of that.
My theory is that like she had some trauma, like I have some trauma, and like, you know, childhood trauma, where like she won't let herself feel her emotions. And I think sometimes she would like have these waves of negative emotion, like she would feel sad or angry or whatever. And
not negative, just emotion.
Right,
Normal.
Just emotion that she would deem negative, and then like she wouldn't let herself feel it. And then the second that anyone did like something a teeny tiny bit wrong, I used like a word that she wouldn't like, or like even like her friends or whatever would
like
say
triggered
something
her.
Right, or like it would just be like a tiny little thing, and she would
irritated her.
She would assign all of the heavy feelings that she'd been feeling, and she would put it on that tiny little thing so that she could validate her emotions, because otherwise, like, she didn't see them as valid if she didn't know where they were coming from.
And she could never look inward.
Right. Well, I think she just had.
Could they ever be her?
My theory is that she had parents. Well, I think this is true, that she had parents that like made her feel like her emotions were too much. Like specifically her like sad emotions were too much.
Which is bad.
Right. So bad. And I think she internalized it, and like she has a mood disorder, and like, so those negative feelings are going to come, and I'm sure they happened to her a lot as a child, and she was told, like, you're being a lot, you don't make any sense, like, you can't feel this way. And I think she internalized that to a degree where she wouldn't allow herself to feel a negative emotion unless she had an exact reason to pinpoint it on. And because I was around all the time, usually that reason became me. And like
You're very perceptive.
Can't get anything past me. Well, that came when I noticed that, like,
you gotta wake up pretty early to get things up past Carling.
Right. Mm-hmm. And all of her friends are these like skeezy guys, or like people that she was once romantically interested in, or like whatever, or that people that are interested in her, or whatever.
Yeah.
I just let that happen. You know what I mean? You see, if you start seeing patterns,
notice
them. And, and a lot of it was like noticing patterns in myself, where I do have this tendency to date people who make me feel like my best efforts are not enough. I get addicted to that feeling of like
always trying harder. Because you're like, oh my God, I'm learning and growing.
Right. Well, I love learning and growing, first of all. And second of all, like, I have like parent trauma. I trauma with my mom, where like, I feel like, no matter what I did, I was never going to be good enough for her. And all I kept trying to do was like being better, being smarter, being kinder, whatever. And like, no matter what I did, she like wasn't going to treat me fairly. And like, I had to come to terms with that.
Or accept you.
Right. But I never had that closure. So I think I've been manifesting, like putting myself in situations that make me feel similarly, so that maybe eventually I can get that closure.
Oh.
I think that's what it is.
It's impossible.
And it's of course that's not going to happen. And of course putting myself in...
And it's not fair to you.
Of course not. And, I was abused.
No, it's yours. I need to stop. I need water.
Sharing is caring.
I love
you. Plus, I don't really drink terribly much. I'm more a smoker personally, but
thanks for making me feel like shit. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with it.
You're gonna do a Cole Sprouse. I give you a cigarette, and you're like, in very many ways,
yeah. I don't smoke cigarettes, but I smoke weed.
Me neither. I don't smoke cigarettes. I was like, let me just go ahead and hide, for no particular reason. Let me go ahead and hide something.
Let me go. No, nothing against it. Really, literally the reason that I don't drink so much is because I have a weak tummy.
I have a very sensitive tummy. I get very tummy troubles as well.
Yeah, hot girls with tummy issues.
Also, we have to wrap this up pretty soon because the podcast is gone. It's been going on the recording's been going on for so long, and I know it's going to be a bitch to edit.
I know, I'm so sorry.
But this has been, wrap up whatever you were saying. You were talking about how you seek out the patterns that you felt as a child.
Right, yeah.
In relationships.
Yeah. So in my last, the one that was this year long, like, we went through all this stuff together, like, it finally made me realize.
Yeah, like, what do you think is the biggest thing you learned? That's what I was going to ask.
From which one? Or just in general?
In general, in this past year.
In this past year, I've learned that... I think the biggest
abuse is bad. No,
abuse is bad. But also that I can't do that to myself. I've started recognizing that I have a tendency to fall into certain patterns.
We all do,
right? And that
human nature, very human feelings,
very human. And and that it is my responsibility alone to get myself out of those patterns. Like, as much as it was her fault for like doing terrible things to me, like it was also my fault because I could have walked away and I didn't. And I recognize that in myself, like that I put myself in these situations where like I don't feel safe, where I'm not safe, where I'm not emotionally like safe, and that like I need to start recognizing that I can meet my own needs wherever I am without anybody else, and like I can still be happy and fulfilled and like worthy of love even when I am not actively in a relationship. So like that's a big thing that I've learned. And then the other thing has been that to stop trying to force your environment to make you happy, because it's never going to stick.
It has to start on the inside.
It has to start on the inside.
Immediate environment is right here and right here. Those are your two biggest environments. It sounds tacky,
but like...
But it's true!
But it's true. Your work shit's always going to change and fail. Your housing is going to change and fail sometimes. Your... Relationships, your friendships.
Sometimes even friendships.
Yourself, like everything that you do, like... is going to fail sometimes.
The number one thing that will always come through it if you make it is
your brain, right
here, bitch.
And you know,
and it will help you through all of those previously stated failures.
Right, absolutely. Like showing up for yourself is so big, and I won't get into it because I know I gotta wrap up. But next episode. Next time
that you're here.
Hell yeah.
Which will hopefully be very, very soon.
Yeah, that's. I'll let it go there because I'll
be a reoccurring guest. Because leave them wanting more because my fans that don't exist yet are gonna.
Oh my god, I can have decent conversation about like self-improvement and spirituality in the world forever.
And the way that I want to wrap this up is what you were saying before about like we just want to make the world a better place. Finn here, your host Autumn Finn. I want to, the Finn invasion is about invading this earth with kindness, compassion, empathy, and I say the podcast for no outcasts. You are not an outcast, even if you are like neurodivergent or you did not fit in as a child, you know, or as a teenager, like you are still worthy. And the way that I end every podcast, like what I decided my outro like phrase is like, hey, if you feel like you don't fit into this world, it's just because you are out of this world. You're a superstar. You already know that you're a star. A superstar. That you're a star. A superstar. It could be a boyfriend. I see that every time. You know I'm gonna be there. Don't be scared. All to put your trust in me. All I really want is to be your boyfriend. You should have grown up with Big Time Rush like me.
I wasn't allowed to watch secular TV until I was like 12.
Oh, no, you're one of those.
Rip. Yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. All right, Carling, tell my listeners where they can find you.
You can find me at Carling Witt, CarlingWitt, pretty much everywhere.
In case people don't know how to spell.
Yeah, well, you know, the Carly thing.
And what are you? Yes, you're right. So, also tell people what they can book you for and what they can find you for.
I do solo, duo, band, music.
Unless you're a band with a member that fucking screwed me over.
Yeah, then you can get fucked.
Get fucked. Get bent. Get bent.
Get absolutely fucking bent. Yeah. You can call me to chat and be your friend too. I love friends.
Oh, that's so sweet. We need friendships.
Absolutely. Connection with other people.
Primary source of the universe.
Chef's
is what
kiss.
we've talked about. Uh-huh.
So book me for music or let's be bros.
Aww. Anyways, thanks guys for listening. Do you want to say it at the same time? Oh, wait, hold on. Real quick, I want to see if you can harmonize. We're going to sing The Finn Invasion. And then, or like The Finn Invasion. Do you like doing high or low harmonies?
I'll do low.
Okay. So I'll go 1, 2, 3. The Finn Invasion. You're out of this world.
We should write a jingle.
Yeah. I've been needing to make a theme. But say with me. I was like, I'm gonna say, "You're out of this world." So say, "Out of this world," and then do you have a good ear for harmonies? I feel like you do.
I do.
You're out of this world. I'm like, "You're out of this world." Hold on. See if you can just chime in. You're out of this world.
I don't know where you were going.
I'm gonna sing "You're out of this world."
Okay.
You're out of this world. Sorry, guys, but the fan invasion. Anyways, you guys are out of this world.
We'll work on it. We're getting there.
You're superstars. You're a superstar.
Oh my God. Sings the whole song.
That's my theme song. I was like, I created it. All right, peace out, you guys. That might be the longest episode I've ever recorded.
I'm so sorry.
I know. Don't be sorry. I can screw up.
Hell yeah.